who, though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped. This is Philippians chapter 2, verse
Sure.
6. So I'm arguing that Paul had a high Christology for Christ in a very early time period for which he was writing. So I do think that there was a high Christology from that time period that dates back to that century. Two, though, my argument hinges on the fact that I do believe Christ is God. So
right, and then you glean that from your interpretation of the Gospel of John. Like, I know all the verses you're going to quote like, in the beginning was the Word, and Word was God, and Word was with God, and
here's
right?
like, it sounds
not
like
necessarily.
You believe that Christ is
quote...
God. You believe that Christ is God because it says so in the Bible, and you believe the Bible is inerrant because it says that, like, it says so in the Bible. Basically, it sounds like you're using the Bible to reaffirm your belief in Christ, which comes from the Bible itself. It feels like this big circular reasoning.
No, because you can presuppose. You can just take so when you go to the Bible and you just take about the 4 Gospels, you can presuppose that they're not authoritative and it's not from God. And you just take them as regular letters and just evaluate them that way.
I don't take them like hardly at all, because they all contradict each other. Like, in terms of like, I mean, I love to pick on Jesus' birth narrative. This is just like a perfect example, but like they all like contradict each other.
Yeah, even
in the sense that because in Luke reports that Jesus was born during the census of Quirinius, and then you have Matthew claiming that Jesus was born during Herod the Great.
Herod the Great.
But the problem with that, though, is that Herod the Great, he died in 4 BCE. And then the census of Quirinius was like 10 years later after that. So how the hell is like Jesus being born?
Once again, that's what I'm saying. You can presuppose that it's not authoritative, right? So letters can contradict even if they're not from God. That's
I think that's a pretty big fucking contradiction.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not just we observed like 2 different things. Like, I know Christians love to do the apologetic of like, oh, well, if people would have 2 different perspectives of like the same car accident. And it's just like, how do you have like the same perspective like when you're 10 years fucking apart from each other?
Right.
Like, that's a contradiction.
I also I think it's a little bit loaded to say presuppose that it isn't inerrant or authoritative, right? It's to say that you presuppose it's not authoritative, because really what we're doing is we're not saying that it's we're not presupposing that makes it sound like it's a fallacy or something. We're just trying to not presuppose that it is, because that seems like what you're doing is presupposing that it's authoritative, when I think you should have a good methodology of determining that it's authoritative.
Right. So
and the next thing that I would go on is that the New Testament authors are big goofs when it comes to interpreting the Old Testament. They do all these typological like running on the same thread. Like, they use Isaiah 7:14 to justify Jesus's virgin birth, but like the context of that Isaiah passage is not talking about any sort of, it's not a messianic like.
Yeah, one can still concede that, and like once again, like I said, one can still.
But you just said that you affirm the Nicene Creed, and that's a big part of the Nicene Creed.
What is a big part of the Nicene Creed?
That Jesus was born of a virgin.
Yeah, I agree that Jesus was born of a virgin. Why would that be a problem?
Because that's what I'm picking on right now. I'm saying he wasn't. I'm saying it's bullshit.
Okay, that's fine. You can believe that.
I'm showing you that it's bullshit.
How?
I'm showing you right now with Isaiah.
What does Isaiah say?
Isaiah 7:14.
What does it say?
Christians will use that as like the reason for that is the Matthew was quoting from the Septuagint, and the word there in the Septuagint is Parthenos.
Wait, that's
for virgin. Hold on a second. I'm having problem with the word virgin in the text because it doesn't exist in the Hebrew text. It's Alma. In the original Hebrew, it's Alma. And Bethula is virgin.
How many gospels affirm that there was a virgin birth?
I would say I think it's Luke and Matthew, and I don't think Mark does.
Mark doesn't affirm a virgin birth? Let me see. Give me a second. I got you. I'll see.
I know there's only a birth narrative in 2 of them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's only Matthew, and it's only Matthew and Luke.
Okay.
But here's the thing. That's the other thing. When you study the Gospels and like how they how it evolved, like Luke and Matthew are obviously copying off of Mark. Like there's like whole sections in Matthew that is just taken from Mark. And so to me, it's just like throws a bunch of shade on the concept that these are eyewitnesses and eyewitness accounts. And that's just not the case.
Yeah. One can still borrow.
So then the only thing you have left is to lean on Paul, and you can go into like 1 Corinthians 15 and do the whole like.
Oh, that's a huge leap to go from they copy from one another. Therefore, all you can do is lean on Paul. That's a huge leap. I just don't think that follows.
I mean, to me, that is the case with the Gospels, because you just once it damages their credibility, like what the fuck? Like what else do you have?
Copying doesn't damage anyone's credibility. Just because you borrow some things from another narrative that you believe, it doesn't make the whole story.
I think it demonstrates. I think it casts a lot of shade on the credibility of them.
Why?
Because they're just borrowing from Mark. If they were eyewitnesses, why would they need to lean so heavily on Mark's account?
And Paul feels like he's totally unjustified. He's out of left field. I don't know why you would take his. It's like it's just some random guy who would have been literate at the time saying some stuff that is contrary to what Jesus even said. I don't know why you would give Paul a second thought.
What did Paul say that was contrary to what Jesus said?
Well, he was by faith alone, and Jesus was saying that you have to keep the law.
Yeah, keep the law for what?
He's saying that you
Jesus
have to abide by the law.
clearly says, like Jesus is pro-law.
Yeah, Christians are pro-law. Yeah, Christians are pro-law. We just don't think the law gets you into heaven. That's the whole thing. So
you're pro-law. You think the law is good? Is that it?
And I get
I get
y'all's arguments against the gospel. Don't get me wrong. I hear them and I get them.
And that's the thing. That's where
it's just the conclusions you're drawing from those arguments. Like you said, Matthew claims that from
right. Well, because
Isaiah,
that's the claim. You're saying that it's their eyewitnesses.
But Luke also claims
you're saying that they're eyewitnesses,
and he says nothing about Isaiah. So you can still get the virgin birth from Luke and just deny Matthew's.
Luke's Isaiah obviously up his ass too. He's just borrowing from what he heard from other people.
Hampton. My issue with this virgin birth thing though is that like if somebody told me that someone was born of a virgin, I would be like, well, the fact that they gave birth is actually the proof that they're not a virgin. That's the proof. If somebody gave birth and said, yeah, but I'm a virgin, you would laugh in their fucking face. You know that they're not a virgin. They gave birth. So it would take some extraordinary evidence to prove that this extraordinary claim to be true.
Right. I think they did get extraordinary evidence. Jesus turned water into wine. Jesus turned water into wine. Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead.
These are just what you can't list.
These are more claims.
That are in the Bible.
Yeah, that's the thing. Here's the thing. Why would I accept those claims to be credible when these guys can't even fucking get details about Jesus's birth correct?
Yeah. Okay.
Like that's the question. That's the objection. Like makes me not trust it.
Right.
Hampton, like if we're going to use the own narrative as evidence for itself, if I had a story where if I told you that my sister is a virgin but she's giving birth, you'd be like, yeah, right. But then in that same story, I said, yeah, but she's got a pregnancy button that she pushes and it's a magical button. It's like, that's the proof because I told you this other magical thing that she did. It somehow is credible. Like, listing that he did water to wine, or he did this, or he did that. It's all in the same narrative. It's like if you try to use Harry Potter to prove Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what y'all are saying. I get it. What I'm saying is the contradictions doesn't fall on his death, burial, and resurrection.
Yes,
That's
it
what
does.
I'm saying.
All the accounts are different. The crucifixion accounts are different, and especially in very egregious details too.
Okay,
in certain accounts,
Let me ask you a question.
No, let me finish.
Which gospel?
The certain accounts.
No, because your contradiction isn't going to hold weight against what I'm asking. I'm asking, show me a contradiction where one of the gospels either deny the death, burial, or resurrection. If those
denied
contradictions,
it.
yes, denied it outright. I mean, contradict, like where Luke says Jesus died and Matthew says he did not die. Luke says Jesus rose and John says
Mark.
he's still in the grave.
Here's the thing: is like if they're copying from Mark, correct?
Yes.
There is no resurrection account in Mark.
There's no resurrection account.
It's just the tomb was empty. That's how it ends. And then the passage that does mention it in Mark is a
added
later.
On. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, that's a long ending of Mark. And
Right.
I don't know why you would want to add that anyway. Because like, do you like to like pick up snakes and like drink poison and shit?
But that doesn't contradict.
Is that like a part of your theology when you drink poison and pick up deadly snakes? Like that seemed like a good.
No. That doesn't. But once again, remember what my question was. Draw a contradiction. So Mark didn't deny a resurrection. Mark leaves this book open.
Mark doesn't even say anything about a resurrection.
Right, but he says something about the death, burial.
That's like saying he denies that Stewie caused the Big Bang and Family Guy. He doesn't say anything about it, so it doesn't mean that he affirms it.
And that's what makes it even more suspect. Because
but he doesn't mention Stewie. What he does mention is an empty tomb. So that analogy doesn't parallel. It's not analogous at all. Go ahead.
So you have like Matthew and you have Luke like adding this stuff, and that's probably because they were getting pushed back. These are apologetics. Like they're adding in addition to Mark because it started getting pushed back later on down the road. You can just see the evolution of it, of like based on what's going on during those times. These are clear manipulations of the culture of the day in terms of trying to sell this narrative of Jesus. And they will do anything to do it. Irenaeus said that like they'll fucking lie. They don't give a fuck about like as long as it wins souls for Jesus, they're willing to lie.
Okay, so one,
and that was like that's like at the end of like the like 2nd century, Christian theologian. Like him and Marcion were like they hated each other.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. That has no bearing on what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
does that mean I win?
I don't even know what you're talking about, so I can't address.
So I win.
You win what?
I just win. I win.
Yeah, if you want to claim a victory, you said more words than I did. Yeah, if that's what you're winning in. So my argument was that
I don't think I've said as like nearly as many words as you have. That is an understatement.
I don't think you have, but the gospel. Do
you think that's problematic at all?
On the burial, the death, burial, and resurrection. That was my argument, right? That's what I said.
But like that's the thing. It's like I'm raising that objection though. Like I'm
saying
that
y'all agree with me
because I'm casting doubt. I'm casting doubt on those accounts that they're just later ads.
But my question still remains: do they contradict? On the death, burial, and resurrection, because you keep saying, well, they contradict, and I'm saying, well, do they contradict?
Right.
Redhead. So Elizabeth, do you remember the reference as to when the crucifixion took place?
That's when you get into the timings of it. Like I forget. It's kind of like a big. I know they all like contradict each other. I know I want to say Luke like has him at a certain time, and Matthew's. Like all their timings do not like mesh with each other in terms of like the reality of when things were happening with Jesus.
Anyone in the chat have the references?
At one point, I think one point Jesus is being crucified in the morning at like 9 or something like that.
Right, but do they contradict in whether he was crucified or not? Like that's like saying one said that he got in a car wreck in the AM, and one said
under this paradigm of like argument that like I'm granting you like I'm moving within conservative scholarship right now. So like I'm granting you that Jesus was this person, and maybe they were resurrected.
Hampton, if you saw a car wreck and or you didn't see it, you're hearing from 4 alleged witnesses. of the car wreck, and one person said, yeah, man, the car was sideswiped on the left side and it did a tailspin, and then another person says it had flipped over on the back, and another one said, yeah, it did like 3 flips, not just one, and then the fourth person said, yeah, some of that happened, but there was also zombies that were coming around. The zombies were everywhere. I mean, would you take them seriously?
Like, what do you think about that? The zombies? Like, don't you think that would be something that would be recorded
recorded
by Josephus?
All 4 of the car wreck happens, but one person says there was zombies involved.
Yeah.
Another thing that casts out on their credibility is the whole thing of the Herod, like the Herod the Great, like slaughtering children, like in Matthew, like that account, like wasn't recorded anywhere in history.
Gotcha.
And the Gospels are the only ones that say that happened.
Right.
And I think that would be kind of like a huge, like, you know, the genocide of infants. Like, I feel like that would be something that would be notable, especially like when Romans were around. It's not like this was just isolated incident.
Right.
Like the Romans weren't around to witness it. Like, that's, come on.
Gotcha. So, and from this, to make this analogous, you would have to also say that it also birthed one of the biggest world's religion ever, right? Which is Christianity. From that story. 2, you would also have to conclude that there was a guy.
I would say that that's the result of a Roman Empire. Like, if Constantine had not picked up Christianity, we would not be seeing it today. It would have died out.
Sure, you can make that argument, but that's a claim.
I am making that argument.
You have to give evidence for that.
And Hampton, let's be clear. Like, this is an ad populum fallacy anyway.
Because
it has a big popular, if there was a different religion that was more popular than Christianity, would it make that religion true just because there was 11 people instead of 10?
You're failing to grasp my argument. My argument isn't a lot of people believe it, therefore it's true. What I'm saying is the car wreck is the explanation for for the belief in it. That's what I'm saying, right? So let's say a natural bystander, a group of those people do come to believe that the wreck actually happened. Even if they are, another person say, well, I don't believe the 3 tailspin part, but they all affirm, but there was definitely a car wreck, buddy. I don't know about the zombies. That could have been apocalyptic literature.
But like, this would be people being convinced of other people's hearsay is the problem. And you can definitely have it tailspin into a big thing over a long period of time. This happens with lots of religions. Something will happen and get exaggerated and mystified, and some things will not happen, but somebody will come up with a story and tell it to people, and some people think it's real and true, and it gets passed down that way. And to
be clear, if this is a court of law, if this was like a court of law, if like the Gospels were on trial, all this evidence would just get like that you're like of the Gospels will get thrown out easy.
I can assure
if it was prosecuting it.
If the anonymous
and to be clear too, the Gospels are on trial like right now with us.
They are, and Ashley made a really good point that a car wreck is not a supernatural claim. Like, a supernatural claim would need far more evidence than just there was allegedly a bunch of people that witnessed it.
Right. That's why I say that. Well, I didn't get the car wreck.
We just got a galaxy from Don. Thank you, Don. You are very much helping the secular perspective, and that was very generous of you. We really appreciate you. Everybody, W's for Don. That was very nice of you.
Yeah, I don't believe that the car wreck is a supernatural claim either. That wasn't the point of the analogy, and I didn't bring up the analogy in the first place either. Y'all, you brought up the car analogy. I was just saying, going with your analogy from the car wreck.
No, you brought up a car thing, and then I made a more elaborate example.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did bring up the car first. I'm sorry. So, and then you added on the 3 cars ripped and blah, blah, blah. And I said, yes, but what one would not conclude from that car wreck is that it did not happen whatsoever. That's what I'm saying. So from the Gospels, even though one says he's crucified at this time, one would say this crucified at that time, one would say this was 2 people at the grave.
Well, I would be skeptical.
Right. But like one says that Jesus rode 2 donkeys. Like, come on.
Right, but that, once again, there's 3 facts that all 4 narratives agree with. That is, Jesus was buried, right? Jesus was crucified, and the grave was empty. All 4 Gospels agree with that claim. right? And I'm saying,
But they copy off of each other,
They
so
copy
they are
not
off
all
of
of them.
each
independent
All
other.
of them.
claims,
So
and they were from
Well,
eyewitnesses.
that's not true. Mark does not copy from Luke or from
Of
Matthew.
course he
Mark
does,
doesn't
because
copy.
they, of course,
Right.
because it's the earliest
Okay, then you
manuscript.
have to
They
fix your
copied off of
terminology and say
Mark.
only Matthew
They
and Luke.
copied off of Mark.
Then you have to
You
fix
have
your
it
terminology and say
backwards.
only Matthew and Luke copy. And it's interesting that you would say they copy from each other.
They
Then contradict,
100% did.
but then contradict each other. That's kind of weird. It seems
Exactly.
that
Well, they
That's
aren't
because
identical.
they aren't identical, because they were responding to each, like, one's has different audiences. Like for Matthew, it's very much like a Jewish audience that they're like using to, like, Matthew to just, like, it's an apologetic to the Jews.
Right. What my whole belief is that they all affirm those three claims, and even from a historical perspective, I would say there's no other better explanation for those three claims that are compiled in the gospel. That the burial, death, and the empty grave that sparked the movement.
You can think of no better explanation than real
Well, that's why I was
magic.
saying. That's why I was saying earlier. You can't rely on the Gospels at all in terms of that claim. That claim just gets broken down in 1 Corinthians 15.
What do you mean? How does it get broke down?
Let's pull it up.
1 Corinthians 15:3-5 says Christ died, he was buried, he was raised,
Right.
and he appeared.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
How's it get broke down?
That's what I mean when I say it, like what you're talking about Jesus. Like Paul's claim there, like the main claim that you're saying, like that gets broken down in 1 Corinthians 15.
What's your point? Like, what are you there for? What?
You're just relying on Paul, who never.
I'm not. The Gospels confirm that he died, he was buried, and the grave was empty. And 3 of the Gospels say he was raised. So I don't see how I'm just
and
relying
that
on
came
Paul.
before the Gospels were written. So
What
I mean, again,
Corinthians?
1 Corinthians, yes.
Yeah, it was because it's believed to be an oral creed that dates back to like the 36 AD. So it was very, very early that people believed that Christ
Before the Gospels. So
What
I mean, again,
Corinthians
1
oral.
There were a lot of people that were allegedly risen from the dead back in that time. People are very superstitious today with our modern understanding of science. They were leaps and bounds, even if you can believe it, even more superstitious back then, 2,000 years ago, than we are now. I know it's insane to think that anybody could be more superstitious than a 21st century human being, but they were like pretty much 100% superstitious back then. The layman's were, at least. It's easy to convince somebody who's very superstitious of magical crazy shit, especially when it's a common thing to hear that somebody was risen from the dead.
I hear you, but I'm saying just because a lot of people claim to die and then had been risen from the grave is not analogous to my point, because 1, we have writings on it. 2, you have
writings on many of them.
like writings from the 2nd and 3rd century. Like a lot of it doesn't get.
And the guy who wrote on it was a person who persecuted Christians, right?
Why is writings of it enough to prove a
I'm not
miracle?
saying. Well, first you need to know so you would need writings if it's going back to that time period, because if you're just saying people did that in that time period also, but there's no record of it, how do you know that? How do you know that claim?
I mean, writings is not nothing, but it's not nearly enough.
I never said it was enough. I said first you would need
all
writings.
You have, though.
Right?
All you
that's
have
not all
writings.
That's not all we have.
What do you have?
We also have oral creeds, oral tradition that came down. Right?
That's worse. That's worse than writings.
How's that worse?
Oral tradition that is just like I said, it's all conjecture. Like at that point,
do you realize how much drift happens with oral traditions? They drift like crazy when you don't write things down.
Can you give me any historical scholar that says that the oral tradition on 1 Corinthians drifted? Because the scholars I'm
That's
looking
just
at,
what happens
no,
with that's just what happens with oral traditions.
right?
I
But
mean,
even
if you've ever played
but the scholars
telephone,
I'm
you have
looking
10
at,
people. You have 10 people line up, and they say a 5-word phrase, and by the time you get to 10 people within the span of less than 30 seconds, it's completely different than how it started.
I get you, but I'm saying, is that the case for the birth narrative? You can't take holistic statistics and apply it to an
Here, okay.
individual.
Well, even if tradition, or even, let's say oral tradition's better than writings, if that's what you hold, I think that they're both still not enough. Oral tradition and writings are not enough to get
Okay,
me to
what would
believe
be
in
enough?
necromancy.
What if
And well, not
in the
that.
case of the Gospels, what would be enough?
In the case of the, I would have to probably have
We
God
don't
come
know the
down and
authors
show
of the
me.
Gospels. Like that's what
If
I'm
I
saying.
could,
Right,
It's like you don't have,
so
if we could
what you're saying is
test, if
nothing's
we
enough.
could,
So
if
that's
we
your
could
argument.
replicate,
because
Hampton, if we
they're
could
not
replicate, if we could
they're not
replicate
eyewitnesses.
necromancy and
If they were
show how
eyewitnesses, would you
necromancy
believe
is
in the Gospels?
possible, if we could show how necromancy is possible, then it
It
would be
would
a
be
lot
better
easier to
evidence than what we
believe.
have. It would be better evidence, like what you just asked me. It would be better evidence than what we actually have.
I get you, but I'm asking. I didn't ask that though. Respectfully, I asked, would you believe if it was firsthand accounts?
Would I believe if it was firsthand
No,
accounts?
No. Okay. So what? So
Not
I'm
necessarily.
asking, what would you need? That's what I'm asking. What do you need? What are you
I would
looking
need
for?
I would need to be convinced that what is being claimed is even reasonable. If I saw an eyewitness of my bank transforming into a donut and being eaten by a hippopotamus wearing pink underwear that turned into a jet plane and flew away, and I had 500 actual eyewitnesses of the thing, I'd be like, somebody drugged your drink. That's what happened. That shit did not happen. You know what I mean? Like, that did not happen. You just
Yeah.
described something completely fucking impossible. I don't believe in necromancy. I don't think necromancy is real. Saying that there was like 4 or 5 people that might have seen it and that wrote it down, it's like so bad.
So
It's
what
not
you
nearly
what
enough.
you just said is, to convince me, I would need someone to convince me.
Right.
And
I
Are
I'm
you
asking,
convinced?
would know.
Okay, how about
asking,
this?
and I'm
How about
asking,
this? Are
what
you convinced
will
that
convince
Nero?
me?
Are you convinced that Nero was resurrected?
Am I
I was
convinced that
gonna bring this
what?
up too.
Yeah, Nero.
I don't.
That's like a claim in antiquity
I,
that Nero was resurrected. Because there's tons
I
of like resurrection accounts from other places, and the evidence and the claims are the fucking same as the Gospels.
someone was
So
going
how
around
do you
persecuting.
substantiate?
Wait,
So how do you
hold on.
substantiate that?
I'm asking you a question about Nero. Was someone going around persecuting people who believed that Nero raised from the dead, and then had a spirit?
So
I didn't mute.
so
I didn't do
one
anything.
of our
You're muted.
mods has one of our mods muted you. So the thing about the resurrected Nero is people went around and voluntarily they lost their lives because of this resurrected Nero. He started an uprising, and people, because there was an impersonator, but they saw this person, they saw him in the face, they believed he was the resurrected Nero because I guess he looked enough like him or something, and they believed him, and he had an army, and he tried to overthrow the government with that army, and people died for their belief that Nero was resurrected.
Yeah, got you. What accounts do you have on this?
I believe that's like, I want to say like Josephus touched on that a little bit.
Josephus touched on that.
Yeah, I want to
I know
say
this
so.
isn't.
Oh,
I know it's
Or
not a
or
disputed
Pliny.
thing.
Yeah, Pliny.
Josephus.
I think it was either Pliny or
Nero resurrection.
This isn't really disputed,
like who
and like
reports that?
fair enough if you don't think it happened, but this
No,
is something that I've
what I'm
always
trying
just
to
heard
do,
is a very common thing.
what I'm trying to do is trying to see
It's just
the
special
actual.
pleading to miracles that just like,
No,
you
I'm
know
just
what I'm
trying to
saying?
find the one-to-one correlate, because what's true about the gospel
That is one to one because there's supernatural claims.
Yeah, well,
The
just because
supernatural claims of
just because two
eyewitnesses
people
who were
make supernatural
who were
claims, that
tricked.
doesn't therefore make
Yes,
them
it's
one-to-one
a
correlation.
Tacitus. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Tacitus.
Now these people
that's
were
in Tacitus
admittedly
annals.
Tacitus
these
writes
people
about
were
this.
bamboozled by an imposter, right? So like they were tricked.
Does anybody else write about this? It's just Tacitus.
It could be, yeah.
Okay, so that's one to at least 5 writers in the Bible.
Well, we don't know because the authors never we don't know who
So
wrote
even if they're
them.
anonymous, even if you want to say
They
they're
could have been
anonymous,
written
that's
by the
still
same.
five.
They
There's
could have
still
been written
five
by the
authors
same
to
guy.
one. Two. You still have Paul, who was a person who was going around killing. Unaliving Christians at that time period, and then became a believer. So, do you have anyone?
I don't really trust what Paul has
have
to say,
zero.
though.
We have zero contemporary evidence, and I know Paul makes the claim that there was all these hundreds and hundreds of people that witnessed it, 500 witnesses, but we don't know who they
He doesn't
are.
cite a source.
Right, I'm
He
not
doesn't
saying
cite any sources. There's nobody else. There's nothing. There's no
I didn't make
other
that claim,
contemporary
though.
evidence.
That's not what what your original argument was. It's just like Nero. I'm challenging that point. So all I'm pointing out is
we don't have to use Nero. There's other resurrection accounts.
okay. Then bring them
all over
We
the
don't even need it to be a real resurrection. As long as this is technically possible, then it could be technically possible that the resurrection of Jesus isn't reasonable. It is more realistic to believe that if there was a resurrection that was witnessed, if we even grant it that far, it would make more sense to me that it was an imposter, just like the Nero story. Whether the Nero story is true or not, it's an interesting story, and that's definitely a possibility of something that could have actually happened. But if Jesus resurrected and was believed to have resurrected, it's more reasonable to me to think that it was an imposter, especially when you get him revealing to people within the Gospels who don't even recognize him at first. I think he's a farmer or something. They see him face to face, and Thomas is like, let me see the wounds, and somehow he was able to show the wounds.
and touch him,
This could
and then
still
it says
be
he's God. Yeah.
they don't even recognize him, and they spent so much time with him.
Well,
That makes me think that's evidence that it was an imposter, if I even grant it to that degree.
You're confusing two narratives. You're confusing where Mary didn't recognize him with.
That was one of the ones I was listing. That was one.
Where did the disciples not recognize him in the house where he touched his wounds? He knew that was Jesus. He just didn't believe he was.
You wanted more accounts, so Dionysus, and how about Asclepius?
I'm sorry.
Dionysus and Asclepius. Blah, blah.
Those are two.
Asclepius. Those are two accounts with resurrection, with resurrection narratives.
Yes, two accounts.
I'm just saying, they're just two examples. You asked me to come up with them.
No, I was specifically asking about Nero. How many people have written on Nero's resurrection, and all you listed was Tacitus. Now you move to Dionysus and who?
And it's Asclepius.
Asclepius. What two writers wrote on this?
Those are just accounts from antiquity, from other
Hampton
sources.
The point.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. The point is that these were claims in history. These are still claims in history. Who cares about the authorship? You can't even claim authorship yourself because we don't know who wrote the 4 fucking Gospels.
I don't trust any.
You don't even know who wrote them. So how can you even make that claim?
But
some random person recorded this and copied from other people. That's
and nobody
dumb.
challenges that. So it was attributed to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and nobody.
I'm challenging you. I'm telling you,
you're
you're backing me in the corner, saying hey, I don't have sources. You don't have sources. No, I told you that you only have Paul and 1 Corinthians 15. That's fucking it. That's all you have.
I'm asking. Look, first of all, my question was, who claims to at least wrote these things? I'm not saying that therefore they really wrote it. I'm just asking who
gives a
cited?
fuck?
Who cited? Well, because it matters.
It doesn't
matter because you don't have any sources either.
Then it's not correlative. It's not. It doesn't correlate to mine.
Because the point is these are claims of resurrection.
If you want to know, you can read on this stuff. You can do your homework to find out all these things. What I'm claiming, you're getting to
people were resurrecting. We are not saying that these are real resurrections. We're saying that there were claims of resurrections, and we have proven that those claims exist. Just by saying they exist is proof
they're in
they
antiquity.
Because it just claims.
There's tons of resurrection accounts and claims. That does not mean they're true.
Like Hampton,
you can't special plead.
Hampton.
You're special pleading this miracle. Do you not see that?
I've got an eyewitness for you of a resurrection, right? So my mom was dead for 5 weeks, and she resurrected right before my eyes, and there was 600,000 people there. So I'm an eyewitness myself. Don't you believe me?
Well, no, because you're not going out and preaching that. Two, you're not willing to.
I am. I'm on a public forum. There's 71 people in here on
would you
TikTok
be
and more on YouTube.
Okay, right. One. All right. Is there anyone else outside of you who wrote on these things, even anonymously? So it's not correlated.
Oh yeah, there's tons of them.
Who?
Oh, they were anonymous.
Right. So who do they claim to be? Is there anybody? There are no writings?
They claim to be eyewitnesses. They claim to be eyewitnesses, but they're anonymous.
Where are the writings?
Oh, they're around. We're still trying to find some more of them. We haven't dated any of them to the actual time, but where are the ones where are the ones that you are referencing? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm an eyewitness myself. Isn't that better?
It does matter because for it to be correlative to what I'm saying, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. But hold on, 40 seconds.
No.
There's a lot of just first century sources, though.
Wait a second.
No, my evidence is better because I am an eyewitness. Wait, hang on. We got somebody in the comments that they were there. John was there. John's literally an eyewitness. He saw my mom come back to life, and there was this big glowing light.
Right, but where's the writings? I'm not asking for people who are saying this happened. I'm asking for where's the writing? Where's the paper? The four
Here, let me just grab a pen. I'll write it down for you if that's what you want.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. While he's doing that, give me like 40 seconds to wrap this up because I gotta hop down here soon. I'm on 2%. One, thank y'all for having me up here. For one,
you're welcome.
I really appreciate.
You're only on 2% God too.
I know. I'm trying to quickly say this. I'm trying to say I appreciate.
That proves
yeah. I want to end this conversation by saying I.
Buddy C, our moderator, has removed you. Buddy C was the one who was muting you too. If you got beef with the mutes, it was from our mod. By the way, our mods reserve the right to mute as long as they're not being majorly abusive with that stuff. We don't mind when they take the liberty, okay? But yeah, you guys see the point, right? A claim of something that's insane needs insanely good evidence. And I mean, he wanted writings. Yeah, you got eyewitnesses, but what about the writings? I mean, aren't the writings he's referencing for Christ's resurrection, aren't they supposed to be good because they were from eyewitnesses allegedly? What if they weren't from eyewitnesses? He wants writings over eyewitnesses. Praise Lobe's mom. Yeah, my mom. My mom's a Christian, by the way. Fun fact.
I just think that there's a lot of special pleading going on with when it comes to the Gospels. Like, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to other people's like resurrection accounts, they're very dismissive.
Yeah,
The claim is the same.
Nail down. There has to be so much evidence for any other resurrection, but like
there really isn't that much evidence
that's good
at
enough
all
for me when it comes to Jesus. Let me see if this
falls apart. It all falls apart in the text too. Like once you start seeing all these problems when you like study like textual criticism, like it is like there's tons of problems. There are just it mounts up, and then you couple that with all the contradictions and just, you know, Jesus not fulfilling prophecy. Like what do you have left of Christianity at that point? Other than it was just this cult that got started in the 3rd century by the Roman Empire. Like when they like just made it mainstream.
So Lathe of Heaven, yeah. She did leave a nightgown of Turin. Yes, she did. They don't call it that, but that's the same thing. It was like this, so much radiation that it would have obliterated everything within a 10-mile radius. But it
that's
didn't.
Even a better point. Like you see all of these like these miracle shenanigans, like the Shroud of Turin, like that is like a 13th century like artwork forgery, and it's claimed they put all this stuff like it's a miracle. Just like when they like try to make like the statue of Mary bleed. Like you know what I'm saying?
That from the
like
South Park episode.
Yes, I mean there's so many like different things, like shenanigans that the church has pulled to try to like fake miracles
hooligans.
And those hooligans.
Those little whippersnappers.
Exactly. But there's just
the secular perspective. We do lives every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday evenings, 5 p.m. Central. It's a different couple of hosts every time. We've got 8 or 9 consistent hosts, and we have guests that are going to be coming up. So on the 22nd, we have Justin, the Deconstruction Zone, who's going to be co-hosting with Joyful Apostate. And on the 26th, we'll have Christ Before Jesus, Jared Wingo, the author of the book by the same name. He'll be co-hosting with Trust But Verify, one of our official hosts. So really be on the lookout for that. Also in February, we're going to have thinker, a born-again atheist, and we're going to have Dalton, the Bible guy, as a co-host as well. I think the only one that has nailed down a date is Dalton. He'll be on Monday the 9th, probably with me. But we have some exciting people coming up here to co-host. Yeah, Duncan, exactly. Yeah, we've got a lot of great things in store. And if you guys want to be a part of what we're trying to build here, make sure you're following the account. Make sure you're doing it on both TikTok and YouTube. And join the Discord. There's a link tree, and you can give requests for if you're in need. We try to do fundraisers and stuff. Thanks for gifting the host.
Love it. Yes, thank you.
We just raised money for a mother to get a bed for her child who's autistic and stuff. And we're very new. So the fact that we have this kind of support is very touching, and it's a good thing. We are trying to build a place where people can have intellectual and honest conversations with other people without necessarily being beat down. That's going to happen sometimes depending on the guests that we get. But we want to have fun and engaging conversations to try to reach people and promote critical thinking. We want to uplift and validate atheists and LGBTQ plus individuals in our community and just in the world, because, well, they exist and they are valid, for fuck's sake. Can I get an amen or what? Let's see if this guest is here.
Amen.
They've been requesting for a while. Bob, he might have fallen away by now.
I think that we are just, I don't know, all these Christians and stuff, they got to stop special pleading all this stuff. That's all it is. That's where my mind's at.
I think Bob scrolled away. In the meantime, thank you guys for tapping. We're over 40,000 likes. I think within the next 10-15 minutes, we could easily get another 7,500 to get us to 50. That would be amazing if y'all could do that. Share the live out, see if we can get some conversations in here. And you guys know me, I like my raving snails. I am as the driver's seat tonight. Thank you, Queen, for the snail. I picked this one because it's just consistent to my streams. But I'm not taking any of the gifts from this. I'm donating them to the cause. So when the host is in the front seat here, they can either take the funds or they can donate them, and you don't have to say what you do whenever. If you're a host, like Redhead, for example, if we were to swap and the gifts went to Secular Perspective, you wouldn't have to disclose where the money goes necessarily. It's not a lot anyway, but when we get, and thank you for the snail. It's not a lot anyway, but we can donate to the Deconstruction Junction or to a specific member of our community who we think needs some help. And I know that there is a particular person I've told Joyful, I think any gifts that I get should go to this individual because we need to help so-and-so. And I don't want to put their business out there, but this is something that I think is important. So thank y'all for gifting. Tonight it does at least go to a good cause, I can assure you. When you're on my live, it just goes to my pocket. So just keep that in mind. Raised enough money for the bed? Yes, we did. We got, what was it, like $800 in a matter of days?
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. You guys are amazing. The secular community. If you don't have God, you can't have morals. Blah 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 blah. Really?
Awesome. Thank you for the fireworks.
At least we care about people without having to be told to care about people. One thing that one of my siblings says is, "I'm a Christian. I have to love everybody." How? You be obedient to love somebody? How can you just be obedient and love somebody out of obligation? That's not love. You said yourself, if God made us love him, we would be robots and it wouldn't be real love. So what the fuck? How can you say you have to love everybody as a command? You're calling your God contradictory. You're calling him inconsistent. You're calling him illogical without even realizing it. And you're all
awesome.
popping off.
Thank you for the fireworks.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the
guys are
gifts.
doing great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I like Scooty Scoot's name. I just imagine a dog on a carpet.
Scooty Scoot's name. I'm seeing like all the comments like on YouTube too.
Oh yeah, look some of the comments. What do we got on YouTube? I can't see it.
I don't know. I think a lot of them are from earlier.
From earlier, we don't usually pop off on YouTube as well as we do on TikTok. We got the cute little corgi with the hard booty. Cute
I
little
love that
thing.
one. That one's
Yeah,
adorable.
I like it too. Dog scoots. That's where you go. Yes, that is where I go. I hear scoot and I think of. Well, that's a chair, I guess. I guess a dog's ass could make that sound if it's going over like an organ pipe or something. Ignore me about the pipes. And
I mean, it's
podcasts.
obviously like rubbing it on the screen, so it's like, I don't know, it's like, yeah. I mean, that's the sound that comes up in my head.
If you're a Christian or any other kind of theist, we're comfortable talking to Christians the most because we used to be that, and y'all are everywhere. Y'all are just everywhere, so that's why we say Christians. Let's talk. It's easiest. But if you're a believer in any type of God, the guest box is completely wide open. There is nobody requesting right now, so there's no line. If you are interested in discussing really anything under the sun aside from direct politics, request and you'll be the very next guest up. And we would love to hear from you. The last conversation, we had him on for a while. Some of it was rational, some of it was not so rational. But I think he had a good heart. I think he meant well.
I think I need to explain what I said about the dog rubbing itself on the screen, because it's like there's like a glass screen, right? And then you have the dog like rubbing its butt, like the little corgi.
Right, but is that really?
It like shakes its butt like right in your foot.
I think it's more of a.
Yeah, it's like ear. Yeah.
It's not like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was doing was a chair's legs on a hardwood floor. That's more of a. Oh, I taught my son squeaky clean.
Exactly.
He washes
Yeah,
his
that's
hands.
hilarious.
Are your hands squeaky clean? And he does the. And then he gives me a hug after.
That's adorable.
Oh my God.
I love that.
Yeah, he's so cute. So cute.
Are you excited for your new arrival? Like, that's got to be like any day now, yeah?
Yeah. We hope that she'll be in labor and give birth before the 20th. If not, that's the day we're just gonna do a C-section if she doesn't.
You know
give
what?
birth.
You and Crystal's grandchild could be like share the same birthday. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, it could. You mean my new son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crystal's Crystal's daughter's having one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I want to get a
So
new cat
and
to
she's
match, so-
expecting it like any day right now. So I think that would be fun if
This
you
is
both
my
had a
son's-
little new
My
arrival.
son's birthday. My son's birthday in Roman numerals. I'm really excited to get the other one here. I want to put like a black band around both sides of this. So it's not technically done. I want the black bands to go like kind of where my fingers are here. Then the next birthday right here, and then another black band there. So maybe we'll have like a third one too. But
I'd
yeah,
show
I
my
love this
tattoos,
shit.
but I don't want to get banned again because I would have to show some thigh, and that would be like scandalous.
a little too high on the thigh.
Like it goes like all the way up my back, but yeah, starts on the inner thigh. You can see it on my page if you're interested in my ink.
I do like ink, but yeah, that's really cool. I like what is it? What do you have?
I have flowers.
Yeah, my wife's got tons
Beautiful
of
flowers. Yeah, it starts on the inside of my like left thigh and then like wraps around my leg and then goes up my butt and my back.
That's badass. I think I would like a back piece. I just don't know what. I love Roman numerals. I think they're sexy. So like a significant year in Roman numerals going across the back, I think would be cool. Like 2018 is the year I stopped being a Christian. So I was thinking maybe that was a very pivotal moment. But I also don't know. Once you put something back there, you think of a cooler idea. It's like, damn, I wish I didn't have this thing in the way.
I just think flowers will never like go out of style. And I love flowers.
They won't. They're a part of nature.
I didn't want to get like some cartoon character that I'm not going to like when I'm like 80. Like I'll still like flowers when I'm 80. So my flowers that I have might look like a little blobby later. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to get them touched up every couple of decades, I guess.
I guess my cat's coming down his little cat tree to come hang out with us. So you're going to see him in a second. He's probably going to jump up on my chair any second now.
Pussycat. On cam. Guys, once again, the guest box is wide open. And you know what? If you guys enjoy our personality and you want to get to know us a little bit, while we're waiting for a theist to come up here, we'll take any Q&A if you guys want to come up here and ask a question, or if you want to make a comment. Shit, you can make fun of a previous guest that we had if you want, which whatever. We want to have a community here. Thanks, Devin, Dalton, Duncan, Daniel. Appreciate you, bro.
We're killing it. Dalton says we're killing it. Hello, Dalton. I hope we're killing it. Killing him softly.
I don't remember his name. He's just like the Bible guy. He's some guy that's all about the Bible. He's probably a Christian, like that Christ before Jesus Christian guy. He's so.
Yeah, he might be a Christian.
People
not Christian.
I did a post about being on TikTok for a year. Thanks for putting up with me for 1 year. Cheers. And then he posts 12 months too long, if you ask me. And then his name is Christ before Jesus, and people, like, not everybody who follows me knows who the fuck he is. So they're like, oh, there's more Christian love for you. There's more fucking, and they didn't get it. And he didn't correct them, but he complained about it in his live to me.
We love Jaren. By the way, we need to we're trying to get some Mario Kart people together for our, I want to play Mario.
That's in my personal Discord, but we can do it a TSP thing too. But I know that we were saying that the game nights in TSP will be members thing. But if y'all like me, I'm Lobes the Absurdist. I don't have a handle you can click on, but if you search Lobes the Absurdist, I'll pop up, and I'm the only Lobes the Absurdist on here. This is my symbol. You'll recognize it. You join my Discord. We're trying to do. Anybody who's in there is technically invited. We play some Mario Kart on the Switch too. World.
Yeah, Mario Kart.
I
think it's Mario Kart World.
World. I'm down for either one. I actually like 8 more because I think I'm just more used to it. But
World is interesting.
They've been updating it. It's been getting better. I feel like it was missing things. We would do crazy items only. Me and a couple of coworkers would do crazy items only. So it's like bullet bills and blue shells and stars and only the crazy shit. So that was really fun. And when we got the new game, it wasn't in there. And we were like, this game's not fucking finished. Our favorite game was up, but they added it. So they updated it, so. We are waiting for anybody who wants to come up here. We are very open and willing to talk to anybody on anything aside from direct politics. Any questions from anyone or any objections from the other side. And I've been seeing a lot of Ashlyn in the chat. Thank you for yapping in the chat, Ashlyn, in a good way.
Okay, somebody has this question. Says, in general, how do you keep calm listening to all those tired lies, talking points, mischaracterizations, and using terminology in a alternative English way? Any strategies to handle fundamental crazies?
Is that directed to me? Is this a YouTube comment?
I think it's just this is a YouTube comment.
So I don't really know how to really give advice as for how to handle putting up with things. I think it's a personality trait that you can try to hone. But I display the fruit of the Spirit because I was a really good Christian. I was super good at being a Christian, which means I was kind of a bigot. But I was a great Christian, and I displayed the fruit of the Spirit. I was like a closeted bigot. I was really nice to people. I was really patient, really kind. I didn't want to raise my voice because what if they're in charge of me? I just have to kind of suck it up and put up with the authority. They're always right if they're the authority. God put them in that position. So I was sort of a little bitch. And I feel like I am still sometimes a little bit of a bitch. I guess you could answer next, Elizabeth, but I'm patient. I want to hear people out because I think if you want to change somebody's mind, you have to hear them out completely and really try to understand try to first tell them where you agree, so they at least give you some credibility in their subconscious that you can track what they're saying and understand, get them to think that they like the way that you think. Then when you finally disagree with them, they aren't so defensive right off the bat. They already have accepted that they think you're a rational person, and they'll take your objection with more seriousness than if you jump and say you disagree for this, that, or the other reason right out the gate. That's when people start getting defensive. And I see Candace just joined. Everybody welcome Candace. She's, I think, a pretty recent apostate.
I think she shows up on Tiny's lives.
Yeah, she's a tiny person. What's up, babes? Candace, we're accepting anybody right now. We haven't had an op come up, so we're taking anybody if you want to join the conversation.
She like brings, but don't show your boobs because I've been getting banned from that like all night.
Yeah, don't even show a little bit.
Don't show like cleavage. That's why I got like my hair down in front of my boobs to try to cover them up.
Hair, you got some hairy boobs.
What's up?
What's up?
Yo.
No, listen, somebody's following me around, and even when I'm fully clothed, I had on a long sleeve shirt the other day, and they reported me for being nude. It's crazy.
What the fuck?
That's so lame.
Well, you're supposed to cover your face. You remember you're.
I think
woman,
it's
you're
just.
supposed to
I
only
think
wear
it's. I think it's people that are. Yeah, exactly. Are we supposed to like wear burqas or what the fuck?
Yeah, boobies are scary. Boobies are very scary. I've had guys coming up stroking it like nonstop on lives, like on video, and they don't even get restricted. But you show a little bit of cleavage, and it's like, oh my god.
Are you shitting me? You had Omegle style shit go on the. I've never seen that.
Twice, and one of them was so small. I was like, seriously, bro. Like, I can understand that's the only looks he gets is when he forces us to see them because it was small. Like, we're talking micro.
Get the tweezers. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Like he couldn't even. His hand was bigger than it.
Wait, but he would
I
have to.
Sorry.
Flick it then,
I feel.
right?
I don't
it's
like
a
the
beam.
body shame. I just don't like the body shame in general. So I feel bad for micros.
No, that's what I'm saying. I feel bad, but don't show that stuff around.
That's valid. That's a good point. You bring that up, Elizabeth. Here I am making
don't show it. Like,
But
keep it to yourself. So what's up, guys? You guys have a large audience tonight. What's been going on?
It's all right. You know.
Yeah, it's been up and down, strikes and gutters, ups and downs.
We had a period where we were, I think at the height we were somewhere in the 70s. I don't think we ever breached 80 on TikTok out, and I can't see the YouTube that we're doing right now either. We're live on 2 channels on YouTube, Deconstruction Junction and our own. So I never saw those numbers, but there was a stint where we were like low 20s, almost gonna dip into the teens with no guests, and
we didn't get that boost until like Trust emptied out.
Yeah, Trust but Verify came and raided us. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I think I already gave you my heart knees. Yeah, I did. Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't yet. Holy crap. Let me do that. Oh, P. Mars is in the house. We're all going to hell.
P. Mars.
P. Mars.
Yeah.
Did you pee on Mars?
I did once.
The P stands for poop. It's common.
Is that where we got like the water on Mars? Is from him peeing on Mars?
Or did I really? So no, like getting back to it, like you guys, I used to be a hardcore Christian. I was a Jesus freak. And it's all because of you lovelies that I have learned the truth and have stopped being such a freak for Jesus. I'm still a freak, but for Jesus now is just
there's a little freak in all of us.
Yeah.
So how did that go? Because I know that you were making Christian content before, even on this platform, and I think you still have those videos up, right?
Oh, I have. That's what my whole platform was. I built 12,000 followers off of Christian content.
Was it easy to get those 12,000 followers? There's some Christian creators that I see just skyrocket. In fact, my troll account, I did intentionally bad posts, like they were supposed to be bad and cringy, and all of them got over 1,000 views really fast.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have to be an idiot to like? You know what I mean?
People to follow you, yeah. do stupid stuff. I know some of my most popular videos is either talking about demons or being attacked by my daughter's big XL bully. Like, he loves me so much that I had him for like a couple weeks, and every night he'd have to like maul me with kisses. It was hysterical. Hey, Slice, thank you, babe.
I apparently have Jezebel spirit, so I get you.
Yeah.
I have like a bunch of like I have like a Pokemon card like stack of like Jezebels inside me, apparently. And I can just
stacking them up.
Don't even
Candace,
get me
stacking
started.
up. I'm just stacking up the gel. Yep, I'm just stacking them up.
You just gotta catch them all, as you said, Pokemon cards. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch all the Pokemon Jezebels because they're failing me right now because I haven't been laid in a year.
Jezebel, I choose you.
I went a whole year once, and it was not a good time.
Candace, what was it? What was it? Do you think was the catalyst for your deconstruction? Obviously, it would have been a process, but can you give us a brief overview?
Yeah, the Greeks. It was the Greeks. Learning about the Greeks and what they believed in Dionysus was a huge catalyst for me because Dionysus is so similar to Jesus. I was like, wait a minute.
Greek squad.
We had these gods before, like there was like, virgin births and, sacrifices for all. Like, I'm like, no, something's not right here. Jesus is just a copycat. So between the, discrepancies in the Bible, the contradictions, then you get the Greeks, and it's just, it was a compilation of a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I can no longer continue to, and I tried to hold on to Jesus for the longest amount of time. I don't know if you guys have all heard of Justin Martyr. I was like, we have time-traveling demons. That is how this has all gone out and played because Jesus is the real deal. So I was still grasping for anything I could possibly hold on to. Your identity is wrapped up in that. I can't lie. Jesus saved my life one night. And that's the truth. Everything that had been done to me in my past and what I had done for my own decisions made me think that I was worthless. And according to the Bible, I was worthless. Like, how was I going to get fixed? But the thought that his blood could wash away everything and make me white as snow gave me hope that I could go on for the next day. And I did. And that's what saved me. So I lived that way. And I was like gung-ho. I was going to see signs, miracles, and wonders are going to follow me wherever I go. And then they weren't. And the more I studied the Bible, the less it made sense. Because I stopped crossing these rainbow bridges that the pastors give you. That echo chamber of, his ways are higher than our ways. Who are we to understand him? You know what I mean?
A lot of the thought-terminating cliches is what. Yep.
Jakes. Yeah, you owe me a beer.
I'll take a Tito's and Red Bull. Let's go.
Cheers.
I haven't started drinking. Are you guys drinking? Make my famous Harry Potter cocktail.
Hey.
What tail? Oh my god, you can't say that.
A cocktail. Tail.
I want a tail.
Tail.
It's just a tail. We're censoring
Just a tail.
Just the tail.
It's dragon tails.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
No, just the tail.
It's just the tail. Just the tips of the tails.
Queen, we can say we're just fucking around.
I love it.
We can say kyak.
We can say
Thank you guys for the 50,000.
It's a really good.
likes.
It's a really good cocktail
really
though.
great.
It's gonna be an ounce and a half of Makers.
Yeah.
Then you have a half an ounce of Kahlua, and then another half ounce of butterscotch schnapps, and you shake that and then pour it over a large ice cube, and it's really good.
I never would have thought to mix those drinks together.
Oh, it's so good. It's kind of like a play on the butter beer that you can find at Universal Studios.
That's what it sounded like, yeah.
It's really good.
Really good. Guys, we got about a half an hour left of show. So if there is a Christian or any other type of theist who wants to come up and talk with us, it won't be 301. We'll have Candace drop. If somebody comes up and we can have a conversation about anything aside from direct politics, we've got a good half an hour in us, as I said. And the guest box is completely smashed all the way wide open like the Kool-Aid Man breaking down your wall. So if you request up, you'll be the very next guest up.
I'll drop down. I was just looking for someone to talk to anyways, but it's okay.
But you can
All
stay up here
good.
as long as you have no
Yeah,
guests.
stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any guests right now. You're fine.
But no,
I love
here's the
hearing
thing.
your what?
I'm on a new kick. Like, for the stuff that I experienced spiritually, I still don't have an answer for it. So is there something out there that technically we can't define scientifically or measure scientifically that does exist? Is there a possibility?
That's where like agnosticism comes into play. That's why I'm like an agnostic
Yeah.
atheist. I don't believe that there's a God. I don't know that there isn't.
Right.
If my whole thing is if there is a God, then it's kind of like from the Lucy show. It's like you got a lot of explaining to do. That's kind of like my
Have
take
you guys
on it.
ever experienced, like, I mean, I literally have had thoughts come into my mind that shouldn't be there. I'll know things about people. Or one time I was going to court, and literally on the morning of, I'm praying, and I heard clear as day, fire your lawyer. I'm like, come again, God? Fire my lawyer? And if you understood the circumstances, it was crazy. Come to find out, like, it's not a long story short, but I mean, super long. But I get into court. We walk in. She's explaining to the judge that I'm firing her on our first court date. And all of a sudden, this woman walks in, and she's the mentor to my lawyer and my son's lawyer that was trying to get me to lose custody of my son. They're best friends. She actually was the maid of honor at the wedding.
Conflict of interest. I would chalk that up. I would chalk that up to just your pattern recognition, like your brain's pattern recognition, and your internal voice telling you that.
Yeah. So it's I don't know, because on Friday, this is Monday, Friday, she literally prayed with me, and it was over the weekend that this person, the other lawyer, had given her all of my son's evidence, which was all doctored. I ended up winning, but even still, it was the craziest thing. Like, I'm telling you, it felt like a voice outside of myself saying to do it, and I was like, okay.
I just think like the brain is a very interesting thing, and you can literally, like, your pattern recognition doesn't necessarily stop with your thoughts. Like sometimes you have subconscious, pattern recognition. It comes from just like an evolutionary trait of just detecting threats.
And I would say that
person was a threat to you. Your pattern recognition picked up on just a myriad of different clues and just subtle nuances that clued those things together.
Yeah, I'm not shooting anything out.
Because there's
the fact that you have the thought that said fire your lawyer, tells me that's like just your brain.
I think that's the most realistic response, probably the most likely thing, and it's possible that it's not that. But if it's something that we don't know about, we can't really say what it is. Nope. We would have to remain agnostic. We could say that maybe X did it and be responsible about being as nondescript about X as we can, if we even want to assume that it wasn't a coincidence. If we can't just accept that it was some kind of weird coincidence or feeling that you had, if we can't, and we somehow jump to the conclusion, I think it's reasonable to jump to the conclusion that something went down with that.
I don't think the God of the Bible is true just because I can disprove the Bible so easily, but like, I still question, is there something more? Like, I don't know. Maybe. Right? So it's just, and I hate that not knowing sometimes. I'm getting used to the phrase, I don't know.
What I think is so interesting, Candace, and you might find this, you're more recently an apostate than I am, but you said you can disprove the Bible so easily. Isn't that insane that, like, once you don't have the blinders on and the bias to make everything make sense with the square holes into the circular pegs or whatever, like, it's so easy to see the problems with it when you don't have the bias preventing you from seeing it. And it's amazing that you didn't see it sooner. I feel so foolish for believing it for the decades that I believed it.
Yes, I call them rainbow bridges because that's the only way that I could come to realize that I was connecting two things together that didn't make sense. So I'm like, I must be connecting it with a rainbow bridge because there's no way, that this is a prophecy of Jesus. And yet I've been fed, this is a prophecy of Jesus. And I used to think, this just sounds like somebody having a really shitty day. It could be about me, you know, like David and his going on and on and on. And it's about Jesus. And I'm like, where does it say anything about Jesus? This isn't a prophecy of him.
Right.
I think it's just like, how many excuses do you have to make for this book before you just like, maybe I shouldn't believe this anymore, you know, before you have that moment.
Don't you feel bad for those that are so deep in it that it's like their desperation to hold on to it is so obvious, and you're like, honey, it's okay to let it go. It's hard to respect those that can't see the contradictions. Like, this isn't lining up, but you can't even admit that it's not lining up. You think the Bible is infallible.
Yeah, I'm very sympathetic. I do feel bad for them, and I really want to make sure I'm delicate and responsible when I deliver the information to them that I think might make them an apostate at some point. I want to be gentle because it can give you such a crisis. Like you were saying, Candace, your whole identity is wrapped up into it. You have an identity crisis at first. I know I had an existential crisis. I was wondering if I wanted to go on living after that. Yes. You know, you demonize this world, this life. You say this life is but filthy rags. The next one is the only one that matters, and this one is the worst it's going to get. But then you find out that you probably won't actually go to this other place. So now all you have is this life that you've already taken a huge shit on, and you call it worthless. So what's the point of going on living at that point?
Yes, I'm like 45 years old, and I feel like I've wasted so much time. Crazy.
I'm the same. I'm going to be turning 43 this summer.
Oh, you look fabulous, girl.
I just turned 30, so.
Shut up. Happy birthday.
October. It was semi-recent.
October what? My son's October 6th. No, you don't have to dox you on here. Sorry.
17th. My birthday's fine.
Okay.
People know my birthday.
Last name.
Same as Eminem. If you ever forget my birthday, Google Eminem's birthday, and we share a birthday.
I'll remember that now.
Today is Dalton's mom's birthday, so shout out to Dalton's mom making another trip around the sun. She shares a birthday with Elvis Presley, I found out today.
That's so cool.
So that's fun.
Yeah. I got to get myself a background because I'm hosting with Tiny, so I like literally messaged Joyful to be like, I got to get a background. I like What's yours? Let me see yours. I can't. Oh, that's cute.
Is that hers?
Yeah, hers. I like it.
That one is like a graphic that I kind of created with AI, but and LOBES kind of like made it into the seal that it is now.
Oh,
but
is that
for me,
the one that's making the seals?
He's the one that made my background like that, but I had another image that's a lot more like colored. It's kind of like a bronze image.
It's like it looked golden almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a golden bronze image, but you have like the church is like in the background there, and then you have me just embracing my inevitable demise of death, and just like embracing that fact and not like so worried about like the afterlife anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just me like embracing the reality of naturalist existence.
I gotta say, like, thank you guys for having me up because I love that I found my people. You know, we're not alone to feel like it's so scary. Like, we're living this world together. And even though it's just here on TikTok, the community that we've got going on here is incredible. And you guys are awesome. Yeah. Thank you for doing this.
You're very fortunate for finding community as fast as you did, too. Like, there's a lot of people who go years without, like, they're all by themselves. That was me. I went on Discord, I was talking about, oh, I'm so into philosophy. It's because I didn't know who to talk to. I'm not even that into philosophy, I found out. I needed a deconstruction community that I didn't know existed.
Yeah,
until
I didn't know they existed either.
Way later.
No, I truly had in my mind that, you know, atheists were hurt Christians or just didn't experience God before. And then I came across me. And have you ever been on Me's Lives? He literally went to school to be a pastor, and he really walked with me. That helped. And he kept telling me, stop asking questions. Stop asking these questions. And I was thinking that I was going to convert him to Christianity. And he's like, you're asking all the right questions. Stop it. And sure enough, within months, I was like, well, the Bible's wrong on this and this and this and this. And here I am, like, starting these arguments. And before I knew it, I was literally like arguing against the Bible as a Christian on his lives. And I'm going, that doesn't make any sense.
What's your favorite contradiction in the
Go
Bible?
ahead.
My favorite contradiction, let's see. I think and this I picked up on when I was younger, is Jesus being the descendant for the throne of David. Because he wasn't born of his father. He was born of God. So nowhere in his bloodline does he come from the throne of David.
Not only that, but the lineages are listed more than once, and there's people omitted from some of them.
Yep.
Like the lineages do not match up either.
Yep.
Even if he was the son of Joseph. It's like problems on problems.
Yep.
There's lots of problems, which is kind of goes back to our last guest. Like, dude, like there's just like, how can you just like cherry pick this fact of like crucifixion and resurrection and like just lean heavily on those facts and then just disregard that all these people that are like claiming these things
are
wrong about so much. Like they're wrong about like that like completely discredits that like anything else they say.
Yep.
Right. And I think that those conversations, even when they're not going to go anywhere ultimately, are still so important, especially on a public platform, for any fence sitters who are watching, anybody who's actually a reasonable, rational person who wants to learn. They're not going to face any judgment for thinking freely in the privacy of their own home while they're watching it on their phone on TikTok and hearing what we say in response to the things that these other people say. We don't have to necessarily reach the person we're talking to in order to make a difference. I try to. I think if you can get them both, then you should make an attempt, especially if you're trying to be an example that a Christian cannot use against you. Atheists are so hateful. Atheists are this. Atheists are that. But when an atheist is patient with you and is compassionate and really cares and is patient and takes your ad homs without dishing them back out because they're more mature than you, that is an example that I think we all ought to set. Though I know it's hard and a lot of people can't pull it off in the same way that my glorious self can do.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm always like in Tiny's and I'm like, okay, guys, let's not attack each other. Let's not attack each other. Right, Tiny? I'm like, no attacking, right? You guys are talking about me. I literally brought him up when he said that. No, there'll be some people going hard in Tiny's lives with us. And I'm just like, okay, chill. We're going to be kind to one another. There are people watching this, because I want to get the truth awareness out there simply because some people need faith and that's okay. I don't want to take someone's faith. Like, if someone had taken Jesus from me in the moment that I needed him, it wouldn't have been good, right? But like, I want to bring truth to those who feel like they're worthless, to make them understand that you're not worthless just because you're not born with sin, because the Bible says that you were. Right, Tiny? What's up?
What?
Love you, man.
To everybody who doesn't know who Tiny Science is, he's one of our co-hosts here at The Secular Perspective. When are you going to host next, Tiny?
I
think Amelia and I are hosting on the 13th, and then Candace and I are hosting next Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I was going to say that you should host one too, Candace, but I'm glad that you're apparently already on the books. I didn't look at the schedule. I just know mine.
Yeah, he put it out there to do it, but I didn't catch the thing to like apply for it or whatever. And then he messaged me again because I went on with him before and it was the first time, and I kind of like stood back in the shadows because I wasn't sure how forward he wanted me to be with everything.
Well, make sure though. So we just ask our guest host to have a neutral background. It doesn't have to be one of our official ones, but I mean, I make them for people who want to have one to match the theme. So if you have a symbol or some shit that you want,
that's why I said I messaged Joyful for it.
Yeah. You send it to him. He'll send it to me. Whatever it is. I can generate it and make it. I usually I literally just use ChatGPT to make them. So
that's cool.
You can at least look consistent.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wanted to do that, so I'll do that. See,
Yeah,
oh, I have one. I fell out of the loop.
His is so shiny too. Some of them shine brighter than other ones.
Yeah, I gotta do mine.
That's because
Oh, hang on. Somebody requesting here. Let me see.
Is that
Do we have
Disciple
a guest?
Zachary? Because I really want Disciple Zachary to come up.
No, it's just fucking Chi-Chi. Now, do we want to talk to Chi-Chi? He's really annoying.
Why not? We get how much time left? I mean, we can drop. I can drop if you want me to.
There's 17 minutes left.
Let's go.
Oh no, Chi-Chi, if you promise not to be annoying like you always are, then we can talk a little bit.
No annoyance allowed, Chi-Chi.
No annoyance. And we also don't have a lot of time either, but hey, Chi-Chi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great.
I'm good, and I thank you. I thank you for being cordial. Thank you. So what have you got?
So I just, what do you guys want to talk about? Do you want to ask me questions as a Christian, or should I ask you questions as an atheist, or how do you want to? I don't mean to interrupt if you guys were already having a conversation, you know?
No, but I would love to
honestly,
know.
we only had 4 people up here because we were just waiting for a guest caller. If you'd rather only talk to 2 of us, we can drop the other 2 friendlies down. You can talk to just me and my headed trouble.
No,
And
I'll
we
talk
usually
to-
let the
I mean,
theists
I'm cool.
come in here and steer the ship. We just don't talk about direct politics. Anything else is fair game.
No, yeah, especially with what's going on right now in politics, it's crazy, and I don't know how to feel about any of it, so I don't really like talking about it either. I haven't formulated my opinions on it yet.
Responsible. So do you want us to drop the other 2 down? Because like, there's no offense to
everyone
them.
can
If
stay
you,
up. I mean, if you guys want to ask me questions, or if you want me to ask you questions,
Are
like,
you
however you
wait?
wanna run
So
it.
you're a Christian, or?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we can drop the other guys down and do like a little 15-minute sesh.
I don't know why anybody has to leave. I mean, they can stay up here.
Oh, okay,
They're
yeah,
not
that
harming
works.
Anybody?
we're in the final like 15 minutes, so we can do a little loosey goosey.
We can do like a
format.
little like
Yeah.
panel and stuff. They can jump in if they want. So what's on your mind?
Jesus.
Jesus.
It was such an
Jesus
open-ended
Christ
question.
is on your mind.
So
Lord
I don't
have
think
mercy.
Jesus- So
Why
I'm
do
a
you think
follower
Jesus
of
killed
Jesus,
people?
But I'm a follower of Jesus, but I'm a Methodist. I'm not a fundamentalist, or I'm a mainliner.
You're a
That-
method man. Is that what you are?
Yeah, sure. I'm a method person. Okay. We also have method women.
Yeah, but you ever heard of Method Man?
Yes, I grew up on the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, of course I do.
I have a question for you. What would be your strongest argument that Jesus is who he says he is?
Well, okay. So it depends on whether you believe in univocality, which I don't. It also depends on which gospel, because each gospel author portrays the character of Jesus a little bit differently. So to get back to whether or not we can even know how Jesus viewed himself is a really complicated issue. But if I were to go with like a traditional Christian viewpoint, where I do believe that Jesus at the very least believed he was divine, I guess my best argument would be that from the historical record, the people closest to him claimed he was divine, and then what we can date back to the historical Jesus, he does on some level claim divinity. Does he claim to be equal with Yahweh, or to be the Yahweh of the Old Testament? No, I don't think so. I don't think you can make a really good argument for that. But I think you could make a good argument that he at least viewed himself on some level divine, and that all his closest disciples, people who wrote about him within that first century context, believed he was divine. So that
Are you a Unitarian?
Are you a preterist?
No.
So I'm wondering what historical documents you're talking about that portray Jesus as divine.
So all 4 gospels, and then the
So you're
writings
using
of
the
Paul.
Bible to justify the
That's
Bible?
debatable.
Okay. Well, so I'm not using the Bible to justify the Bible. In fact, I reject the idea that it's the Bible. These are separate historical documents that were compiled centuries later, and then were canonized. So they are separate historical documents.
So you would say that the letters, how did we get all the letters that Paul wrote out? How were those collected over thousands of, miles that they were spread apart to the churches?
I mean, it's a testament to the church's record keeping, to be honest with you. And by the way, Paul's epistles are probably our earliest documentations of that at least Jesus Christ existed, and that the early church at least believed he was divine on some level. And then after that, you have the 4 canonical gospels. And then even after that, you can go into like the Gnostic texts, which are 2nd century plus, which also agree that Jesus was at least on some level divine. And then you have like the pseudepigraphical texts and epistles that all pretty much being on some level divine. So that's what I would base that argument off of.
I see.
As far as I know, I think that as far as Paul's letters are concerned, I've only ever heard of them being as a part of a collection. Like, no one, as far as I know, has ever claimed to have just one, or have a response back to one of the letters. It almost seems like they were compiled as a collection.
I mean, gosh, going into source criticism is such... So, like, there really isn't a consensus view when it comes to, like, source criticism, which is why it's sort of kind of been abandoned in the last, like, 50 or 60 years or so. Yeah, there are people getting PhDs that are working on it, but it's not really something that people focus on anymore because it's kind of like a lost art. It's kind of something that people have just decided, hey, we don't know and we have no idea. Let's do our best. So source criticism has kind of taken a back seat.
Know, though.
Yeah.
Saying that you don't know
like,
is sort of like where I fall into.
So we don't know like how it was compiled. What we know is that we do have these texts. We do have these epistles. They do
right, but they date
them.
Yeah, but those dating methods are a little like kind of crazy. Like it comes from like internal like source. Well, they use like certain things that the author says within the writings to date the text.
It's also handwriting, because handwriting changes. I mean, you can go into like.
Sure, I mean, there's other methods too, like the Greek, for example, like Titus and yeah, I'm aware.
Okay.
Yeah, like Titus and 1st and 2nd Timothy, like they're
so
like
the
in Greek. Yeah, the pastorals. I mean, that Greek used there is just it's 2nd century Greek, like when you get down into
a lot of scholars, and I think that's kind of gaining steam right now.
Yeah,
a lot of scholars do believe, and by the way, they're pseudepigraphical.
Thank you, Granazana.
For sure, they're pseudepigraphical.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we don't know who wrote those.
But and by the way,
really only only 7 of Paul's epistles are even like under like the
agreed upon
conservative scholarship. Ooh,
no, not even
Jaren's here.
Have you ever talked to Jaren about this?
Jaranism?
Have you ever?
He's right next to you.
Our guest Jaren here. Christ before Jesus. Have you ever talked to him before about this?
No, I don't think I'm familiar with him. Maybe we've crossed.
Jaren's kind of like the goat of stellometry and this subject.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing that the pastorals are not 2nd century. I would never argue that. We just don't.
Yeah,
know.
they are.
So,
I mean, just all of the writings are just like dated in between like 144 as far as like having them.
Pastorals.
Like the whole 27 books. It's like 144 and later.
Wait, for the pastorals, correct?
For everything.
No,
we don't. The earliest things. Yeah, well, I mean, I know that like P52 is generally that's.
No one dates Galatians in the 2nd century.
Well, I know, but that's because they use like an internal.
No, that's
like
because that's the scholarly consensus.
I know that that's
I'm
a scholarly consensus, but there's a lot of other reasons. Like Jaren can explain it to you better than I can.
and that's probably a fringe position. I mean, even somebody like Bart Ehrman, who I respect as a scholar, even though he's an atheist, he would absolutely claim that the majority of the New Testament was written in the first century.
Right.
And
to be clear, like I'm like a borderline mythicist.
That would be a lie.
Okay. That's not a lie.
Like barely any of it was written in the first century.
Wait. No. What I said was Bart Ehrman claims.
I know Bart
that the
Ehrman's
majority
take on
of
it. Yeah,
was
he
in the
holds
first
to
century.
many of the
Wait,
same
Tiny,
like
are you
datings.
saying that was a lie? That I lied?
Saying
No.
most of it was written in the first century is a lie.
No. That Bart Ehrman, the biblical critical scholar, the textual critic, I claimed that he claims that the majority of the New Testament was written in the first century, and then you said that was a lie. Is that what you're referring
Have you
to?
read any of like Dan McClellan's stuff too, or
Yeah,
no?
Dan McClellan would also agree with me here.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tiny, can you respond to what I said?
Was written. A minority of it was written in the first century.
Wait, no. What
Most of it comes second
respond to
century,
what I
third,
said,
and
sir.
not fourth century.
No, what does Bart Ehrman say?
Well, that's the thing. Is like, well, we're
Cares.
talking about like the actual manuscripts, though.
Well, he's claiming that I lied. I just want to get that out of the way.
No, I think he was saying
the
that it
lie
was
is
a
that
lie.
the
That
majority-
not necessarily that you lied, but that
The
the
majority
claim is just
was written in the
untrue.
first century.
Okay, yeah. The majority of critical scholarship would claim that the majority of the New Testament was written in the first century. That's a
What?
fact.
A lie.
That's
Jaron,
not fair.
So
Jaron,
you're saying I'm lying?
Jaron, could you clear this up for us? Do you have anything to weigh in? I only invited you because this topic
the general
specifically just
consensus
came up.
The general consensus is that Mark was written somewhere in like post 80, right? And then you have Matthew, Luke written in the 80s, and you have John written in the 90s and possibly into the second century. You have the Pastorals written in the second century. You have Paul's epistles definitely written in the 50s and 60s in the first century. This
Not
is
definitely.
not fringe material.
Not definitely.
What's the direct?
Yeah, well, no,
source
I'm saying
for
this is
these
the
claims?
scholarly consensus.
What's the
It's
direct?
like
An
overwhelming
appeal to
consensus.
authority.
Well, I mean, do you know more than they do? Do you know more about? Do you read?
Do you know?
what is-
Do you know
the
what
original?
they say?
Like, can you wait? When you have P52,
Let's go book.
P52 is
generally
late
dated.
second century, probably.
yeah, like 150, right? Which means it would have already been copied, and circulated, and that's the latest gospel. That's off of John, right?
There
So
could
that's the
only be
latest
one
gospel written,
copy.
which means everything else you got to push back.
That could be the original, though. P52
I mean,
could be the
guys,
original.
if you're going to deny like the majority of scholarship, then I guess I should just bounce. Okay,
Well,
That's
I want
good.
Jaron to
because
weigh
you're
in.
talking fringe. You're talking
Well,
fringe theories. here.
Like let Jaren talk, I guess. Like that's what Lobes is wanting. Jaren, go off mute.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jaron's just scared.
Yeah, that's yeah, I'm
Are
terrified.
you just blinded by my red hair and my troubledness?
That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm like, oh my god, is that a fire? I'm like, oh no, it's not.
Somebody's gonna flag her for cleavage. Oh my god! Like they already did twice.
That happened to me, like, yeah, a couple times.
Hate it when that happens. So
It's me all the time.
really quick, is it pronounced Chi-Chi? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chi-Chi, I understand as, I mean, I don't want to speak for the entire panel, but I would assume that we all understand that the current consensus among scholars of religion right now, or scholars of the New Testament, is that the majority of it, the vast majority of it, is written in the first century. I get
Critical scholarship.
Sure. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it was. It's the evidence that we need to take a look at.
Right. And
Why
they look at it
why
and
would
they
we care
assess
about
it.
someone's opinion? What is the evidence they point to?
Because unless you know more than them, or know more than the majority, like
More
they
than the
obviously-
majority,
so
or just know
any
something
argument
that's-
you're
they
going to
don't?
give right now is something that they're familiar with and they have decided is invalid, right? So that's why you have this vast majority of professorship and people who spend their entire lives getting PhDs in this, who absolutely, unquestionably date the majority of the New Testament into the 1st century. And it
So
would take a huge paradigm shift for you to say
really quick,
otherwise.
really quick. So again, you use the phrase, that's why. You didn't give any evidence as to why. Why? What do they point to that shows that it's in the 1st century?
I mean, there's entire books about. Well, so I started from P52, right? So I
No,
can just
it
give
does not.
you. Well, so I said that I started with P52, right? That's what I started
You
with.
started with P52. Okay.
Precisely.
Okay.
And by the way, there are entire books written about this. It's impossible to give out an entire dissertation in a TikTok live. But I want to give you one argument real quick. When P52 is roughly dated into the 2nd century.
Roughly dated into the 2nd
I've
century?
seen it in person.
Yep. Anyways.
So what do you
can I
mean
continue?
roughly? What do you mean roughly?
Because
I mean,
it's
I would
not
agree,
exact.
but not in the way that
What do you think roughly means? It means it's not exact.
Okay, correct.
So anyway,
yes.
so can I finish? Can I finish? So it means it must have
because
been...
I've listened to you prattle on and just not give any evidence or anything like that. Because P52 has nothing to do with how we.
I'm doing historical evidence right now.
Chi-Chi, listen. P52 has nothing to do with how any scholars, critical or personally religious, would date it to the 1st century.
Well, that's
P52,
just wrong. I can quote scholars
it's not.
who do date
P52 is a copy.
P52.
Okay, please listen.
P52 is a
That's my
tiny
point.
fragment of like a corner of John 18.
Precisely my point.
Yes.
Which means
and
it must
do you
have
know
been
when
in
P52
circulation
dates
previously.
to? Do you know when P52 dates to?
Like, it's not even enough to wipe my ass with.
Yeah. Do you know when P52 dates to, Chi-Chi?
That means it was already passed around.
Cool.
And circulated enough to be copied, and then kind of destroyed. And John, being the latest gospel we believe we have, that would push back at least 20 years, and then push back Luke and Matthew 20 years, and then push back Mark at least 5 or 10 years. And that would push back all of the epistles that we know for a fact are written by Paul. At least we're in the 1st century, sir.
Yeah, so you just randomly pulled those numbers out of your ass. That's not at all what any scholars say.
Pull up a source that says you're wrong?
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead and pull up a source that says that the Gospel of John has to be 20 years before P52. I want to see that. I want to hear exactly where you're getting it.
So much ass
no one is ever going to give exact dates.
Okay, well, you pulled those numbers out of your ass. Thank you.
No,
I wouldn't date P52 later than 144.
Yeah,
because
also,
you are a textual critic. And you know
when P52 is dated to?
Yeah, around 150.
Okay. And what is the source for that? Is that the John Rylands Research Institute and Library, wherever it's housed?
I will tell you right
Before
now.
they dated it like 90, like back like
maybe
like 15 years ago. Yeah, it was like 90. They tried to say 90.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. For P52, like the manuscript or the fragment was initially dated between 100 to 150. Recent research now puts it at about 200. That is from the John Rylands Library and Research Institute at the University of Manchester, where it is housed.
And I've seen it in person. It's not that impressive.
Obviously, dating is going to adjust and change as it always does. What
Based
evidence
off of
do you
what?
have that Galatians was written in the 2nd century?
Oh, whoa, slow down. Nice little pivot there. So P52 is now dated by the John Rylands Library and Research. Hold up, please.
I would argue it's 150. Yeah.
Okay. You can argue all you want. That's just wrong.
You can
the
too.
John Rylands Library and Research Institute,
for a
where it is
fact-
housed at the University of Manchester, dates it to 200. It is because of paleography. Do you understand what paleography
there's also
is?
paleography that dates it to 150.
It is not. So do you understand
wait.
what paleography is?
Yeah, handwriting.
Okay, it's the study of handwriting.
So yeah, that's
and what does it require for dating?
For 150 as well.
What does it require for dating?
I'm not sure what that question means, but you can school me if you want.
So the fact that you don't know what it means that you need to be quiet and let someone who does know what it means explain it to you.
But you're
Paleography is the study of handwriting in order to try to date something. Okay. Anyways, so paleography is the study of handwriting in order to date something.
Which I said.
It requires that text come in that have dates on these texts in order for us to try to figure it out, in order to cross-reference. These are usually administrative documents, which we don't have a ton of. We have to wait until they roll in. And unfortunately, while the first editor, this is actually explained at the University of Manchester's website, unfortunately, while the first editor who published a piece on P52 dated it to 100 to 150, recent research that comes in from administrative documents that have dates on them shows that this handwriting lines up with 200, not 150. This is not a date that is used anymore by the people who are actually working on the fragment to this day. Recent research shows 200, not 150 anymore.
So we're
That's
off
an
by
old
50
tape.
years. Cool. Continue.
Cool. So,
That's kind of a
as
big deal, though. Like, especially
no,
historically,
it's
like
not
what's
really,
going on
because,
back
like,
then. No,
So
it
what
is
we
a big
can
deal.
do is we can push back.
Because then you're starting to get
Paul's
into
writings
Marcion
the first
stuff.
Century, easy.
well, again,
You're starting
so,
to get in Marcion and then like Irenaeus.
What makes you believe, like for a second, that Paul's writings were
By
in the
Marcion?
2nd century?
Because
I'd
Marcion
really
was the
hear
first
that
one to
argument.
publish Evangelion.
No, I'd be really curious to hear what your argument is for Paul's writings, like let's say Galatians, for instance,
right
into the 2nd century.
Unless the hosts are wanting to do this, I'm not necessarily willing to pivot with this guy. So he said that P52
No, I've
needs to
already
be
agreed. I
20
can
years
see that.
after John.
Wait,
so that
I
would place
can
John
see
about 180. I'm even willing to say 160 if that's
Wait,
okay with you.
I've
But 180,
conceded.
and then another 20 years for Matthew and Luke. That would be 160. Then another 5 to 10 for Mark. So yeah, that would line up with what Redhead had been saying this entire time.
Okay.
Plus, there was the
Using your numbers that you
Barkova
pulled out of
revolt.
your
Like
I
that,
will,
there's
I
all
will
kinds of
DM
tons
you,
of
some
history.
actual real scholarship. Okay, Christ before Jesus.
Cool. I literally gave you an
When you
actual
want
He
to-
website
goes
to go
on
to.
lives
Give me
every
Entire
single day.
academic
So why don't
community,
you
you
follow
let me
him
know.
and come go debate?
Yeah, no.
him.
When he wants to publish a paper that undermines the entire academic community, I'll
Oh,
be
it's
looking for
ruffling
it.
from some
And when it's
feathers, to be
peer-reviewed
sure.
and it's and you convince a professorshop across the globe, then I am here for you, brother.
What about
Okay?
Robert M. Price? Do you think he's like full of
Okay.
shit too, or what?
Yeah, another fringe scholar. Yeah. Okay, I see where we're at. Christ before Jesus. When you publish your paper that undermines
He already has.
the
He has a
entire
book.
academic community, you
That
let
is
me
his
know,
book.
brother.
That is his book.
Sure. Chi-Chi,
is it,
if you'd like to
is it-
look
He
up
already
a scholar
published it.
if you'd like to look up a scholar that has quoted us multiple times,
Christ
me and my
before
co-author,
Jesus.
that's perfectly fine.
When you convince the majority of critical biblical scholars,
Oh, the
you let me know,
majority.
brother.
Oh, now
Yes.
it's not a peer-reviewed paper. It's the majority of everybody.
Okay. I cannot wait for a bunch of PhDs.
This
who
is
agree
called
with you
moving
and
the
don't agree with
goalposts.
me.
Actively
As soon
moving
as a
the
bunch of
goalposts.
PhDs disagree with me, I'm willing to listen to you. Until
Okay,
then, you're
Thomas L. Brody,
brother.
Nina Livesey, Jason Badun,
you
Robert
are-
Price, Richard Carrier.
Okay,
How many would you want?
I also think the world is flat. Like, great. Like,
Awesome.
Do you
So
really?
you asked for multiple people, and I gave
Chi-Chi,
you
are
multiple.
you
No,
serious? You think the world is flat?
when you flip the paradigm over,
Are you serious?
to
Wait,
the
go back to that. You
majority
said
of
that the
New
world is flat.
Testament
I'm interested in
being
the world
written
spot
in the
thing too. Do
2nd
you believe the
century.
world is flat?
Are you
let
saying the
me
world is flat,
know.
really?
You big old weirdo.
Are you saying that the world is flat?
DM me, all right? Have a great night.
He just said the world was flat.
I was going to drop him after that. I just wanted to get him to confirm because I mean, you know how many PhDs say the world is not flat?
I don't.
I mean, if it's just about the PhDs, give me a fucking break, man. How can you
I mean,
say?
the
How can you
consensus-
say? I appeal to authority in PhDs, but then say the world's also flat. How
Well,
can you
I think that's
possibly do
because he believes the Earth is a PhD. That's a pretty huge disc.
Is that his claim?
That was a pretty hard deal.
Are you? Is it, like? Have you guys talked to him before? Is that his claim? Is he like a flat earther?
I've talked to him before, but I didn't
He's
know
still
that
a flat
because all
earther.
he ever does is criticize prompts. The only reason he didn't do that is because all it says is Christians, let's talk. But I remember I had two prompts up one time. The first time I met him, it said the Christian God is not real, the Christian God is evil. I had those two prompts. And he said, I have a problem with your prompt. It says, and he said it like that, where he changes pitch like an annoying amount of times. Christian God is not real. I wouldn't say that there is the Christian God, because there's so many interpretations of the Christian God. I'm like, I mean, what do you think I should say? every version of the Christian God is evil, or every version I've heard about the Christian God is evil. It's like, yeah, that'd be more accurate. I'm like, that is ridiculous and annoyingly long. Like, everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what the fuck I mean when I say this. You're being so fucking nitpicky about this, and you're not engaging with the substance on purpose. And he did that on Mezzo too. Mezzo actually blocked him for that. He literally blocked him because he was just nitpicking the prompt the whole time.
He does that on my live constantly.
Oh, ask me anything. Ask me anything, atheist. So what? Well, what was the problem when I asked you, why did you stop beating your wife? Why yeah, like some bullshit like that, probably, right?
Kind of. I mean, it's not that bad, but yeah, he usually just asks leading questions, and then he doesn't answer questions, then gets mad when you don't answer his questions. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know many of his positions because I never get past the nitpicking and criticizing of prompts.
I think it's funny when they start to be really selective with like their critical thinking. Like they want to be hypercritical of like our arguments, but at the same time they can't apply the same type of like hyper cynicism to their own like position or their book. Like as
guys,
you know,
I do want to thank everybody for tuning in here, all 66 on TikTok, and I don't know how many on YouTube. I'm sorry I can't see the chat, but we had a really great night tonight. Thank you for Candace, Tiny Science, and a special thanks to Christ Before Jesus for coming up here and giving us your thoughts and your words and stuff here at the end. This was a pretty good live. It has its slow moments. It has its exciting moments. I think it was a really fun, successful one. We had a great time. The Secular Perspective is just our movement here. We're trying to get a community going. We have a Discord server in the link tree. And if you
we're
like
gonna have like a little
Jesus
party
points,
like afterwards, right? Are we
yeah,
doing
we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah,
a little 20-minute
live
like
party.
like a little 20-minute party like at the end.
Yeah, we'll do. We've always done a live party in the Discord after the live. So if you're an atheist or if you're at least non-combative, you can come in and you can hang out with us during the Discord live party. If you like Christ Before Jesus, Jaron, what he had to say tonight, that's a little teaser. He'll be co-hosting this very show on the 26th, right, Jaron? With Trust But Verify, I think is what it is.
Yeah, me and Trust are going live on Monday, January 26th.
Yep, 26. So if you guys like him, if you're already a fan of him, he'll be co-hosting this show on January 26th with Trust But Verify. Another big name we have a little bit sooner in this month is Justin the Deconstruction Zone on the 22nd. That'll be with Joyful Apostate, one of our admins too, the founder of this. So, but thank you guys for tuning in. This was great. We got, I think we got most of our gift goal. So that was really good. Thank you guys for everybody who contributed to the gift goal. Thank you for everybody who tapped the screen and shared the live and participated in the chat. With that, we're going to head on over to Discord and party. See you guys later.
Talking about a pope, right?
Where's a Protestant in the Bible? I asked you if the Pope is a Christian.
That's a minister. That's a position.
I asked you if the Pope is a Christian.
Where is a Pope in the Bible?
Can you answer the question, please? Is a Pope a Christian? Just like you answered, is Jesus God? Can you answer in the same way, please? It's a yes or no.
I don't know.
You don't answer
Does
because
he
you
believe
know
it? Does he believe in Jesus Christ?
You're so bad at this.
Does he believe in Jesus Christ? Is he a Christian? I don't know.
Yes. Literally, the largest branch of Christianity is Catholicism. The Pope is the head of that. And the fact is, when these decrees were written, you fuck nut. When these decrees were written, the Catholic Church was the only game in town. There was no Protestant Reformation yet. You guys are all an offshoot of this.
So I just follow the Bible. I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't know anything because you're fucking stupid.
I know what the Bible talks about. I know what you're
just like a stupid bigot. You don't know anything because if you understood, if you knew anything, you know what I'm talking.